Whenever you guys want to order some discs, go to discgolfmarket.com. Promo code HOMESLICE. Enjoy the video. What is up, YouTube? Back at it again with another review. What do we have? Today we are comparing some overstable putters. We've got the Latitude 64 Cenus and Vibram, yes, VP. Also, I'm Travis. He's Brad. Enjoy. Alright, so the Sinus and the VP are both pretty flat on the top. Their rims are super different though. So the VP is just really round, and then it has a pretty big bead, a pretty noticeable bead. Whereas the Cenus, it's got more of that like round to a flat with it doesn't really have much of a bead. But they're both pretty comfortable in the hand. I think that the VP is a little bit more comfortable, and then the Sinus, it does, I don't know if you're going to be able to tell or not, but it does have these little textured, there's 3 of those little textured pads. The Lat 64 Sinus, great overstable approach putter, you could call it. For me, I could rip on it as hard as I want. That was on Annie, and it flexed out. And this basket, you can see in the distance, is about 400 feet out. And on this throw, I mean, I put everything I got into it, and you could see how it just held the turn and then at the end flexed out. And I mean, that's a far putter throw for me. It's just great, reliable fade. So for headwinds, you can throw it anything. Tailwinds, it bombs. Hyzers, great approach disc. The plastic BT Soft, I think it was very comfortable. You can see swung it out really wide, and it hyzers back right into the open. You know, it's great for forehands. Hyzer flips, you can see it flip and then fade. Great glide on this disc. Just all around a fantastic approach disc. Putting, it's so overstable that I don't know, I wouldn't recommend it. The Vibram VP feels great in your hand. Just another overstable approach putter. So Annie, these are 168, 169 gram, and I throw them as hard as I can on Annie, and they fade. I mean, these things are stable, guys. No glide at all. So if you're looking for a disc that you don't want to go too far, this is the disc for you. Annie, it holds a little bit, but it fades so hard at the end. This thing had a lot more slow speed fade at the end. So, I mean, when it wants to dump, it dumps hard. So, hyzer shots, short 200, 250 tops. Hyzer shots, this is a great disc. Forehand, didn't get the best releases with it. Another hyzer flip, fade. They're not going to go far on you. Great for those approach shots. Putting, again, I can't putt a stable putter very well. This is, I mean, for both of them, you could put them into a headwind if it was very stiff. Alright, so the Sinus, like Trav said, that basket, we measured it with U-disc. It's out at like 400 feet. It is a stable putter. Like Trav said, if you throw it flat, it's gonna stay pretty flat and then dump kind of hard. Not like a harp or anything like that. If you put it on a hyzer, at least with my arm speed, I did not get it to flip up. You can see there, it just held that hyzer the whole way. When I threw it on this next shot, I put a pretty stiff, pretty steep Annie on it, and it started to kind of fight out at the end. It ended up landing pretty flat. As far as a putting putter, I don't really like super overstable discs to putt with. I guess if you were using it for a headwind disc or something like that, it might work for you, but I just wouldn't recommend it. Next up, the VP, and this thing has no glide. It was a lot different than the Cenus in its low speed stability, because it almost just fell straight to the ground. It had a little bit of that for me, left to right fade, but it really didn't even have much time to get very far to the right. It just kind of fell out of the sky. On a hyzer, you could see there, it just held it. On an Annie, it just fought out of it. As far as a putter, yeah, you can see there, that Annie it didn't hold it at all. As a putter, again, I wouldn't recommend it. It's just a little too stable. All right, it's recap time, but real quick, shout out to disc qualified, like disc qualified, but like disc golf. Did this die? And that is sick, super sick. So hit them up on Facebook or YouTube, not YouTube, Facebook or Instagram. They'll do some dies. So yeah, sick dies. Anyways, so what'd you think about these two putters?
They're stable, and they were a little bit different than I expected them to be. I thought they'd be closer in flights. They're not. I know we get roasted sometimes for that, but you know, that happens. The VP has no glide, so for me, I'm not a huge fan of that, because a disc with no glide means that I can only max out, you know, at really short distances. So I'm picking the Cenus, and the reason why is, say I do want to throw it 200 feet, which is like my max with the VP, I throw this at 60%. That being said, also the thumb tracks, they didn't bug me at all. I've heard some things on forums that these thumb tracks can bug people. I don't notice them. I really don't. But I already have a harp in my bag, a West Side harp, and it's just a little bit more stable, but has that same glide. That being said, though, it's a great disc. Both of them are. Both of them have a place in anyone's bag. If you're looking for that stable approach disc, pick either or. If you're a Vibram guy, obviously go with Vibram. They're plastics or rubber, whatever you want to call them. It's great.
I think for a beginner that needs that shot but can't quite, like a harp would be too stable, I think either of these would be really good for that.
Yes.
But again, they could be used for any level. I had a VP in my bag for a little while, and I liked it because there wasn't that glide. And I actually tried to switch to the Sinus, so I knew how different they were going to be. But like I said during the video, the VP, the reason I want a stable disc, obviously to fight wind is good, but I want to get that left to right fade at the end. So I want to get that extra distance to the right, where with the VP, you're not going to get that quite as much. It's stable in a sense that it'll get a little bit of that right to left or left to right, depending on whatever hand you throw with, but it just falls. So I think of the two, I would pick the Sinus, but like Trav, I already have a different disc to fill that spot, which is the Zone, which I switched because of our video. But I bagged both of them, and I was very happy with the VP. Not as happy with the Sinus initially because it wasn't as stable as I was expecting it to be. But going back to it, I like the Sinus more. So, that's our thoughts on it. Anything else?
Real quick too, I just noticed VP slower, more rounded of a rim, so with my forehand it wanted to flip more, oddly enough, even though it's more stable on the back end. So also, if you're a flick player, if you forehand a lot, probably pick the Cenus. If I was going to say anything, pick that Cenus. Other than that, like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram. We're posting stuff all the time, sneak peeks, cool stuff.
That's it.
Yeah.
See you next time. Bye.